job, great job, great job. All right. As Jonathan and Julie were saying, we have a big job as people who support the fire walk. Now, you already heard about the fire building team that Jeff was talking about. We also have our fire walk team, which is pretty much everybody else. Because we're going to be running, Jonathan, do we know how many lanes we're going to be running yet?
36, I
Yeah,
think.
about 36 lanes. So we have 36 different groups of people that are going to be supporting the fire walk. And so it's going to take all of us. But here's the great news. Each of us will have a very specific position, and we all get a chance to work together as a team in order to make the fire walk successful. All right. So now let's talk about how that actually works. I actually have some little PowerPoint slides, which hopefully will make this make some sense. If you can see the slides, please put your thumbs up for me. Let me see. Got the slides. Great, great, great. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you. I love having Emily Clement as one of the screens on my side because Emily and I go way back. Okay. Firewalk happens the first day of the program, which usually blows participants' minds because they're going, you mean I'm going to walk on fire right away? Yes, you are. And Tony does a great job of preparing people for this breakthrough because ultimately, a fire walk is not about walking on fire. It's about overcoming your fears and doing something that you might have thought was impossible and how that can then transform you from that point forward. So the fire walk, day one of UPW. Now, as you can see, I love pictures. Pictures love me. This is what a fire walk actually looks like. And when we get out there, please take a moment to go, oh shit, we have real coals, pardon my language. But as I say, we're going to be training you to be ready for everything that we do. And those coals that you see in that picture, that is the result of our fire building team being out there all day long, getting those coals ready for us. Okay. Great. Here is what a fire lane actually looks like. All right. If you can see, this is a diagram of what the lane actually looks like with all the fire lane positions in it. And we're going to cover each position in turn so that you can see, one, how a fire lane works, and two, you can start listening and saying, I think I would like to go out for that position. I think I'd like to do that. So please listen up. Here we go. First fire lane position, we call it either the first cop or I like to call it the whatever it takes team. Now we are going to be in a big arena and the fire walk location is about a block away from the arena itself. So our first job as crew is going to be to help people get from the arena to the fire walk safely and also in state. You're going to hear those words a lot throughout the course of the firewalk training because everything having to do with the firewalk is about what state you are in and what state the participants are in. So the whatever it takes team is lining the route from the arena to the firewalk and directing people where to go. They are also keeping people in state by keeping the energy high. You'll see again on site when we train this, people are going to be clapping. They're going to be saying yes, yes. And we want to keep them in state all the way through until they get to the firewalk. The other thing that the whatever it takes team does is they are checking to make sure that it's only our attendees that are going from the arena to the firewalk location. Now, in many places where we've done firewalks before, we come back again and again and again. For example, in November, we're going to be back in the New York City area in the United States, and we have a lot of people who have walked on fire there. Some of them like to do what we call crash the party, meaning they know there's a firewalk coming and they try and sneak themselves in. if people try and do that, we need to make sure that they are escorted away. So the Whatever It Takes team, we are checking to make sure that people who come out to the firewalk, I don't have my visual aid with me, I'll use this. They are using, here we go, they have a name badge. It's not a name badge, but pretend it is a name badge and a wristband on, which means that they are there as partaking of the seminar. We want to make sure that people are, that only people who have participated in the program are walking on fire. Okay, if this makes sense, put your thumbs up high and proud and say yes for me. Thank you so much. And the other thing that people will do at the end of the firewalk is to make sure that folks are, anybody that's having challenges gets directed in the right direction. But key for this position, keep them moving forward and keep them in a great state. All right, that's position number one. Next position, there we go, is what we call the cop. And the cop is about 20 feet. How many meters is that? Can somebody give me the meter calculation? What is it? 8 meters, something around there. I apologize. I'm an American. I don't do metric, but whatever. It's about 20 feet, 8 meters away from the start of the fire lane. And this, thank you, 6. Thank you, Julie. And this person is again keeping people in state, making sure that it's only our attendees that are in line. And also they're encouraging people to come into their fire lane. We have 36 lanes. We have 15,000 people that are going to be there. So the cop's job is to help people fill those 36 lanes efficiently and effectively. So they will be waving their arms. They will be pointing people in the direction as to fill the lanes furthest away. And then they will be keeping people moving forward so that the participants get up close to the front of the fire. Because here are the 2 secrets of walking on fire. You want to know what the 2 secrets are of a successful firewalk? There are 2 secrets. The first secret is always state. People need to be in a great state and they need to be in a strong state. And that's what we are doing as a group to help people to stay in state. The other secret for a successful firewalk, though, is momentum. Momentum. We want people to keep moving forward so that the flow of the firewalk is very strong and steady, and people just organically feel like they've gotten from the building to their fire lane, to the front of the fire lane, and then ultimately across the fire into the other end. Okay, great. Couple of quick things that the cop does, and all of this, by the way, is going to be posted in the Slack channel. And we will be training on all of this. So the main thing for the cop is to keep people moving forward, keep them in state. There are some specific things cops say, like eyes up, you've got this, specific things. We'll train all of that on site. All right. And the main thing, as I said, is to keep people in a great physiology. How many of you out there might feel like you might be a great cop? Let me see. Let me see the hands. Let me see the hands. Fantastic. Yes, I know that there. I see some familiar hands up there. I know that there are definitely people out there that would be a fantastic cop. All right, let's go to the next position. The next position is what we call the lead-in. And the lead-in's job is to make sure that people who are approaching the fire lane are in the state that they need to be in order to walk the fire successfully. Lead-ins are our senior leaders or our trainers typically, and we will give extra training for people to make sure that they're ready to go. But just for everyone on this call to know, there's always someone at the front of the fire who is checking to make sure that people are in that firewalking state. And if participants aren't, they get them into that state. And they're working with the 5 people that are getting ready to walk on fire. Okay, that's the lead-in position. The next position is what we call the lane leader. Now, the lane leader is one of our incredible trainer team. Most of them have done multiple firewalks, many of them all over the world. And the lane leader has two primary responsibilities. First off, the lane leader is going to be the head of what we'll call the fire lane team. The 7 or 8 people that are serving on one particular fire lane, the lane leader is the lead of that team. So he or she is going to be collecting your mobile numbers to make sure that you can get in touch with everybody on the lane. He or she will be in charge of the training that we'll be doing during day 0 to make sure that everybody on that lane knows what they're doing and has practiced their position. So that's what the lane leader does for our team. For the participants, the lane leader's job is to make sure that people are ready to walk and they're the ones that say, go. They're stationed right at the front of the fire and they check with every single person that is walking the fire and tell them when it's time to walk. You can see that this is a pretty important position, right? But here's the secret. If everybody, the cops and the lead-in and the whatever it takes team has done their job, the lane leader basically can sit there and go, 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 go. Because it's all about state and momentum. So that's the lane leader position. Let's keep on moving. Here we go. The next position on the fire lane is what we call our safety anchor or our silent angel. Now, those of you who've walked on fire before, did you know that there was someone that walked alongside of you every single step of the way? That's what the safety anchor is there to do. The safety anchor says nothing. Says nothing because we want to make sure that people are in state when they're walking the fire. Safety anchor says nothing, but they are walking alongside the person that's walking, looking in their eyes to make sure that they're in state and basically conveying them from one end of the fire to the other end of the fire safely. The other job that the safety anchor does is he or she is the information conduit from one end of the fire to the other end of the fire. So if there's anything that's happening on one end or the other, safety anchor will let the lane leader know, or they'll let the people at the other end of the fire. So safety anchor, very important position. They walk alongside the person that's walking on the fire, and then they run back and they walk alongside the next one. Again, we'll give you very detailed training on each of these. I'm going very high chunk on all of these just to give you an overview. Let me know if this has been useful so far. Let me see some thumbs. Perfect. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, great. Now, that was Silent Angel, and I had the safety anchor up. This is Silent Angel that I was describing. Safety anchor, we don't do a fire walk without a safety anchor. There is no more important position on the firewalk, to my mind, than the safety anchor, because the safety anchor has the hose, and the safety anchor's job is that when someone has crossed the coals, they spray the bottoms of the feet of every single person who has walked. You can see how important this position is. If you can understand how important it is, put your hands over your head and say yes. Yeah, it's really vital. And it's actually a lot of fun. We want to make sure that we're getting the coals off the bottom of people's feet. We want to make sure that everything is safe. If there's any issue with the fire, that safety anchor has that hose and it's all ready to go. If by any chance there's any issue with the water on the fire lane, which sometimes it can happen that a hose gets kinked, we stop the lane. Because if there is no water, there is no firewalk. Okay? Again, very, very, very important position. All right, so we've gotten people all the way from the building. We've gotten them to the front of the fire lane. They've gotten themselves in state. Lane leader says go. Silent Angel walks alongside people. Safety anchor sprays their feet Tony is going to tell people that if they are not stopped at the end of their fire lane, they're going to keep walking until they hit the North Sea. Am I right? Cologne, North Sea? I don't know. But anyway, he's going to tell them to keep walking until they are stopped by what we call our first anchors. And our first anchors are right on the other side of the safety anchor. So once people have got their feet sprayed, the safety anchors are there to stop the walker from going any further. One, to make sure that they get their feet sprayed, and two, to get them to start to get back into their body. When you've walked on fire, most people are in an altered state. They are cheering, they're going, yes, yes, yes. They are focused on where they want to go. And the first anchor's job is to hold them and tell them to stop, wipe your feet, and celebrate. Very, very important position to get people to start to reintegrate back into their bodies. It's also a safety thing so that they can get their feet sprayed off. First anchors, we always have 2 first anchors per lane because they work as a duo. And again, we will demonstrate this for you on site. If you want to be a first anchor, it's a great position to be in. And it's a lot of fun because you get to watch all the people that are walking the fire coming straight for you. It's totally, totally awesome. Okay. Final position on the fire walk is what we call our second anchor or our celebration anchor. Because once the first anchors have caught that person and then let them go, the celebration anchor is on the other side of the first anchors. And their job is to get people to celebrate what they have done. Now, I'm sure this is not true of anybody that's out there, but do you know people who maybe do incredible things? They accomplish something amazing, and then they just kind of slough it off. It's like, oh yeah, I did that. Or, oh yeah, that was nothing. Or, oh yeah. They don't celebrate what they've done. And that's what this position is for. This position, the second anchor, celebrates with people, says, you did it, you did it. And then encourages them to move out of the way so that we clear the space for the next walkers that are coming through so that we can keep the momentum of the lane going. Okay? And that makes sense to you. Put those thumbs up high and proud. Fantastic, fantastic. And the last position is actually the fire building team because each lane is going to have a wheelbarrow team. These are 2 members of the fire building team who will be there and they will have big wheelbarrows of hot coals. And so we want to make sure that we treat them as part of our lane team. We take impeccable care of them. We listen to what they say because their primary job is our safety and the participants' safety. So we want to make sure that we include them and welcome them and love on them. All right, this is now that you've heard all of this, here's your diagram. It should make a little bit more sense. You've got your first cop, which is the whatever it takes team, cop 2, lead in, lane leader, side anchor, safety anchor, 2 first anchors, second anchor, and the wheelbarrow team. Again, we are going to be running through all of this on site as part of our training. And I'm hoping that you heard a position in there that you might get excited about, because there is nothing better than being on a fire lane. And you are going to have so much fun, and you are going to love watching the transformation of people's lives.